Dreams can bring us life and energy. They can give us a shot of adrenaline. They can also make us frustrated, defeated, angry, mad at God. A little self-hatred mixed in there, and wondering what's wrong with us and why haven't we accomplished this yet. Hello, my friend. My name's Zach, and I felt discouraged chasing dreams more times than I would like to admit it. I've faced defeat and thought I am a flawed human, and I've tried to outwork my way to achieve the goal. Like I saw in so many other YouTube videos, you just got to work harder, don't you? And that has left me devastated more times than I'd like to admit. So in this video, we're going to talk about some things that I've done wrong chasing dreams and some solutions to them. I'd like to say that you're going to learn these tips and you're never going to struggle with burnout again. You're just going to fix it all. But that would be a lie and a terrible way to start a video. So today, let's discuss the truth. Usually we try to work harder to reach our dreams. And if we're stuck, we're taught in our culture to just lean in, press in, grind. You know, sometimes, here's the thing, that is the right solution. Like a little extra work can break you through. In fact, I was thinking about this, and years ago, 20 years in just another month, I bought my first restaurant. And I was so excited to get in this new endeavor, and I had to work my butt off. I mean, sleeping in the back of the stores, even using the back sink as my little handy dandy shower. Yes, that's against health code. Don't bust me for it. There should be a statute of limitations. It was 20 years ago. But here's the thing, that hard work started to pay dividends. And my business grew. It grew by like 20% that first year. So if that worked, more of the same will do more, right? Like this guy's like, when do you stop eating cake? When you throw up. You know, more, that's the solution. But the next year, here's what happened. We didn't really grow much. And so I thought, self-shamingly, I needed to work harder. But that didn't work. See, working harder works to a point, and then it stops. In fact, I was thinking about this, and there's a great book by Price Pritchard, U Squared. I got it right here. It's a very short read, but he starts out the book about this example of a fly. And if you've ever had a fly in your house, watch them at a window. They fly into that window over and over and over and over again. And guess what? No matter how hard that fly tries, they are not going to break through that glass. I know, shocker. But you can even open a door a few feet away, and they'll still try to fly out that glass window. I've realized when we're chasing our dreams, this is us more than we'd like to admit it. We double down efforts on the same things over and over, expecting a different result. But that's insanity. And even this new dream that I have, this YouTube channel, I'd like to grow it. And I caught myself recently doing the same thing as that fly. I got to record more videos. More. But here's the thing, I probably need to do some things differently. So I've started to think creatively, where am I going wrong? Is it in the packaging of the videos? What is it? And stepping away and thinking. So if you are chasing a dream, don't work harder, work smarter. Here's some ways you can do that. You can pray to God. You know, that's a good answer. He holds all wisdom in the whole universe. We should probably be asking Him for wisdom. And here's the thing about it. He tells us that if we ask wisdom, He will give it to us. Sounds like a win-win. We could also ask people in the industry, whatever dream it is that you're trying to achieve, if you're trying to be the best father you can be, husband you can be, business owner, YouTube Christian channel, what is it? Ask people that have done it. Because I guarantee you, you are missing just one or two things. Because we all are. We all do things a little differently than what you might think. In fact, here's something really close to home. I love running. Do you know how you get faster at running long distance? It's not to try to run faster. It's actually to run slower and get your heart rate down in zone 2 and go for longer. Over time, that gets you faster. That feels like the total opposite of what you should do. And too often dreams are that way. So ask for wisdom from God and from people you trust and people that have done it before. The next step that leads to burnout for me, and I think this is true for so many of us, is that if we're really honest, part of us is looking for validation. See, at best, we all have mixed motives. You know, I'm doing this channel because I want to help people connect with God, themselves, and with the people in their lives, and in turn, have kingdom impact that's beyond what they could think or imagine. That's my pure motives. I also have another part of me that is desperate for a thumb up on a video or a subscriber. You could do both. It's not going to harm us. But here's where it can get ugly, because I can base who I am off of a performance of a video, off of a dumb thumb or a subscribe. See, part of me, when someone subscribes, goes, man, one person God is gifting me to impact. But an equal part of me sometimes is going, oh, I must be okay. When we are looking for validation from others, as the acceptance of who we are, it will always lead to burnout. Because what's the answer to validation? More validation. And at first, maybe you have this dream and a little someone encouraging you and saying, oh, that's cool, goes a long way. It makes you feel like you're worth something. But over time, that same interaction will become meaningless. You'll want a little more. And all of a sudden, a video with 100 views isn't enough. It's got to be 1,000 views. And all of a sudden, 1,000 views isn't enough. It's got to be 10,000. And why isn't it 100,000? And that's the train of validation that leads to burnout. You know, same thing happens within my restaurant, where if we have a good month of sales, all of a sudden I feel like a great business owner. And if sales are down, all of a sudden I'm a terrible owner and a terrible person. Why would God entrust this with me? That leads to burnout. My friend, it is God that can validate us, and that is the only thing that does not lead to burnout. See, God thinks you're wonderful. In fact, there are so many scriptures that talk about your righteousness, your holiness, that before the foundations of the earth, He knew you, that He has plans and purpose for your life. That is validation that does not lead to burnout, because that is true no matter how much you get done. See, the other one, I got to strive and earn. This one is freely given. And in that freely given, I can work out of it. It is a shift that will change your life dramatically, but it's not just like a shift that you choose one day and you're just like, oh, and I never struggle with seeking validation elsewhere. No, we have to remind ourselves of who God says we are, not what man says we are, or not what we think we are. It's who He says you are. Right? The next thing that leads to burnout is false needs. And here's the thing about false needs. It's a lot easier to say false needs than to actually look at it, because we don't recognize them in the moment as being false. They feel perfectly valid, and it's something we need desperately, but we don't. So here's your list of 5 things that are false needs that you and I think we need. And they sting a little bit. Just going to warn you. The first one is control. The second one is perfection, to be perfect. Not like the way I said perfection. That wasn't perfect. Number 3, needing to know the answer. Number 4, needing to be there for others. And number 5, approval. We all struggle with a certain amount of all of those things, but they're false needs. And you might have one that just really sings to your heart as something you think you need, but you don't. And here's a prayer that's been helping me. Well, before I dive into the prayer, here's the thing. My biggest one is approval. Like, I just said it with the desperate for validation. Like, I struggle with needing approval, needing to be liked. And it's something I have to surrender to God constantly. And here's how I do it. It's a simple prayer that I learned from one of my mentors, Steve Cuss. And here's how it goes. Jesus died so I don't have to be blank anymore. Now for you, you don't say blank, you fill it in. So Jesus died so I don't have to be approved by others anymore. And it is that reminder when I'm praying to God that his death on the cross and his resurrection died for me. And I can trust a God like that with surrendering control to him, or surrendering my imperfect self to him, or surrendering that I don't have an answer for how to grow this YouTube channel, or surrendering that I can't be there for everyone, only God can, or surrendering that that person just didn't like me or left a negative comment or did something else. And Jesus died for that. I don't need to try to prove myself. So for you, what's the one that you need to remind yourself that Jesus died for? It is a powerful prayer and can lead to powerful connection with the King of the universe. All right, and one more point that I wanted to get to that is what I struggle with the greatest. Lack of trust in God's timing. See, what causes burnout? Our short time frame. Yeah, I think that God has probably placed a dream in your heart. Here's the thing. You don't know when it's going to happen, and neither do I. It'd be really cool if we did, but that's not the way God works. But could you imagine if Noah tried to make the flood happen in a certain part of time? Like, he thought, I need to just stop building this boat because it's obviously not going to happen. He didn't know when it was going to rain. God just told him to build the ark. In fact, Abraham didn't know when he would have kids. And he tried to put it in his own hands and make it happen now. And it did not end well for him. That was not a good product. Right? King David was anointed king of Israel and then went on the run for years before it ever happened. When we get into burnout, we're trying to make something happen now. And I know that you and I want answers for when it'll happen, but I think in my life, one of the reasons why I've discovered that God hasn't told me when is because maybe I wouldn't talk to him as much. Maybe I wouldn't be surrendered enough. Maybe once I had the answer, I would try to do it on my own. Because that's my human nature. And I'm guessing it might be something you struggle with too. So remember, if you get in burnout, these are good places to look at. Are you trying to work harder? Are you trying to hit a time frame that may not be yet? Are you looking for validation? Or are you trying to hold on to one of these other false needs? It's a place we constantly need to go back to and re-surrender it to Jesus. Because, my friend, sometimes you got to re-surrender every 5 minutes, but it's still worth it. Hey, speaking of dreams, you and I need breakthrough in that area. And if you're looking for breakthrough, you might want to look at this right here, because this may help you. Have a great day, and God bless you as you chase your dreams.